And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is L. Palmer, who during his near-death experience learned that there is no such thing as death. L, thank you for joining me and welcome.
Islam, thank you for having me.
L, if you don't mind, let's start on the day that you had this experience and go from there.
I woke up at the girl I was seeing's dorm room, and the way I woke up was without my alarm and with like a different kind of spunk in me. Like it was weird. Um, and I played a song for her, and I left to catch my bus. And as soon as I got to this, I couldn't. If as soon as I'm walking up to the bus stop, the bus shows up. All right. I thought I was gonna, I thought I was gonna miss it. So I get there and, uh, go to my college class. I go to my first college class. Um, class is class is cool. My second class is canceled. I go to a spot to study in the college campus and to sit and study for a test that I have later. Usually I study in a library, but today something told me to sit somewhere comfortable and open. I didn't have my cell phone on me because I lost it 3 days before that. Um, so I sit in this like a kind of like a couch in front of like a table and a TV. And as soon as I sit down, I hear my godmother calling me, Denzel, Denzel. I'm like, how did what are you doing here? Like, how did you find me? It's like, oh, I just came in here. I'm like, yeah, but like, how did you find me? Like, this is a college campus. Like, how did you find me? So guys, I really just walked in here and, I looked around and I found you and you were here. And I was like, wow, well, that's strange. Like, what are you doing here? So go, we have some things assigned for your car. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, my next class is canceled. So, I have time, I have a few hours to kill. So, we go outside and it's my car. Oh my God, my car. Like, what's my car doing here? She's like, oh, I told you we had some things to sign. I was just joking about that. I just wanted to show you that I have your car. I'm like, all right, cool. Can I drive it? She's like, not right now. I was like, well, I need my J. Cole CD. I need a J. Cole CD ASAP. Um, she drove my car to my sister's house and I got my J. Cole CD from her and I drove out of there. And from there, I went and picked up uh, her son from daycare, and I dropped them off. And I went back to uh, I went back to the college campus, my last class, and then I started my day. I went and drove. Was just driving around pretty much in my car. Um, it's October. It was 3 days after my 21st birthday. Um, so I needed to get a haircut because there was a party that night that I wanted to go to, I think. Or I just wanted to go out. I think I just wanted to go out because it was a Thursday, Friday night. Um, so I went to my barber. He was busy. So the other barber in the shop ended up cutting my hair. And he ended up giving me a free haircut because I was going to give him a ride home. Like, this is smooth. Everything's working out. Everything just seemed to be flowing. Like I couldn't be late for anything, and everything was just going my way. It was amazing. And I did not have a cell phone on me. And at that time, AIM was the go-to. AIM was the AOL. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the the communication. That's how we communicate with each other. You know, you leave one of those messages up. Um, so I went on AIM after I dropped him off. I went on AIM, and my friend Justin, um, no, I'm missing parts of the story. Okay. Um, okay. So after I dropped him off, I went to my godmother's house in Cranston, and I was on AIM, and um, the girl I was seeing, her roommate hits me up and asked me if I was going to the party that is um, Ryan Rezaleski's party. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Ryan's party. She's like, oh, I got a car. I'll come pick you up if you need a ride. So I got a car now. I'll come pick you up. Uh, yeah, sure. I went to I went from Cranston to Providence, Rick, Rick, Rick College, Rhode Island College. And as soon as I'm pulling into Rick, it's October now. As soon as I'm pulling into Rick, snow starts coming down in October. Snow is literally coming down in October. I'm like, what? Like I rolled down my window. I'm like, I caught snowflake. I'm like, this is crazy. I've never seen snow. Like at that time, in my 21 years of living, I've never seen snow in October. We've actually we'd be lucky if we got snow in December. By Christmas, we'd be lucky. Um, so I go in the dorm, and she's still getting ready. You know how girls are. I asked if I could use her laptop to get on AIM, or computer to get on AIM, and my friend Justin hits me up. He go, are you going to that party? Like, yeah, I'm going. So, oh, I need a ride. Um, I just got my car. I'll come pick you up. Um, Now from Cranston to Providence, from Providence to Coventry. This is a distance, and I probably shouldn't have did it, but I had a car and I was excited to drive. Um, so I did that, and as soon as I pick him up, and there was alcohol in the car. I gotta tell you, there was alcohol in the car. I wasn't drinking. I don't think they were. I can't remember or not. I'm pretty sure they weren't. It was my It was 3 days after my 21st birthday, so I know I bought alcohol, Southern Comfort, and some Heinekens. I'm pretty sure, or was it? It was either Southern Comfort or Platinums, one of the two. Um, so soon as this is like where everything kind of came to a crescendo, like all that flowing and couldn't be late for anything. That's where it all. This is where it all kind of like meets, like all of it right here. And I remember feeling before I left the CVS parking lot, this decision could decide the rest of your life. And I said, I did this. It was like a feeling that came over me. Like either I thought that or a feeling came over me. This decision could decide the rest of your life. And I said out loud, I'll be all right. I did that. I did that whole, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. There were two other people in the car. And Justin just had a baby girl. And the girl I was seeing, um, she's got her whole life ahead of her. Uh, and the snow is really coming down now. Like it's really coming down. It's actually started to stick, and I got to go all the way back to Providence from Coventry. Um, Everything's cool. Everything's smooth. I'm on the highway. driving, and no one's on the highway. No one's on the roads at all. Completely dead. Completely. And I lose control of the car on the highway. Like I hit some black ice, and I regained control of the car, but I was going too fast when Thurber's curve came. Now Thurber's curve is like a fierce corner on the highway. I was probably going like at least 60 miles an hour, probably. Very least 60 miles an hour. And I remember like doing that, turning, and then I don't remember. I remember the next thing I remember was being outside of the car in the middle of the highway and thinking, like, I got to get out of the highway. I'm going to get hit by a car. And with everything in me, I stood up and I took 2 steps. And when I took my second step, I collapsed, and I couldn't. When I collapsed, I couldn't lift up my neck. Like my head just stayed down, but I just continued crawling. Um, I crawled until I saw the white line, uh, as much as I could, and my legs were still in the low speed lane, but like I'd say like my top half was over the white line. My last coherent thoughts were, I can't move anymore. But if my legs get run over, I can still survive. That's it. I can't move anymore. And that was it for me, consciously in my body. Like I lost consciousness. Um, Now I'm in the ambulance and I'm watching them slice open my shirt, like, and then as they're slicing my shirt open, I'm fading out of the ambulance. Like, what's going on? Like I don't know what's going on. And watching the ambulance go, and then it starts fading away, and then the highway's fading away. Everything's fading away. Like all of it's just fading away. And I'm like looking at myself, like, what's going on? Like I don't know what's going on. And I saw a figure of light. I don't know if I went to it or if it came to me, but it it walked me or guided me throughout my entire life. Like I saw me, like, not to be like, you know, I don't know, perverted or whatever, but I saw me like come out of my mom's vagina, like me like I saw me breastfeeding, and I saw her when she started to smoke cigarettes again. Um, it made her milk taste different, and that's when I stopped breastfeeding. And it's like it's a little weird. Like I wasn't. It wasn't like I was just watching it. I was reliving it as well. Like I wasn't just watching it. I was reliving the experience. So it wasn't like a flash. It was like a moment to moment experience. It was like growth in consciousness. That's what I think that's what I think it is. Like the moments in your life, they're like growth in consciousness. That's what I would consider your flash before your eyes, your whole life. That's what I think that is. And then uh, I saw all the events of my life. I saw all the different girls and experiences. I saw it all. I saw it, and then I saw the car accident happen. I watched the car accident happen, and then um, it was like it was like it lost its it lost like I lost my body. Like I didn't have a body anymore. Um, I said, "Where am I?" And then I heard, "The kingdom of heaven is within." And then I went from like not having a like not having a body to being like it felt like on it felt like I was on all fours in like a praying position. And again, I don't have a body, but I felt like I did. Like I remember doing this with my hand. Tried to look at it. Like I was in this white area. I went from being in an all black area, like all darkness, complete darkness. When I asked that question, you know, where am I? Where am I? Well, the kingdom of heaven is within. So, and I felt like I went from dark to light, and I all fours again. And I did this with my hand, like I could, I could, I couldn't feel it or see it. I felt like I could feel it, but I couldn't see it or experience it. I had no body to experience it. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Um, and then I was shaking my head in denial of what happened to me. Like, no, this can't be happening. And then I heard a voice speak to me. It said, "My child, why are you afraid? For there is no thing to fear." And it felt like I got taller. Like it felt like like the weight was lifted off of me. And I said, "I died. I'm dead." It said, "There is no such thing as death, but you have a choice. You can stay or you can go back, for your works are not finished." I didn't um, understand or fully comprehend what that meant or what that entailed. Um, but I remember sitting there thinking about it, and while I was sitting there, it felt like love gave me a hug. Um, um, I felt like love was really embracing me and um, comforting me and giving me grace and acceptance. Um, and I made the hardest decision I've ever made in my entire life. And I said, I want to go back. And I woke up a week and a half later in the hospital. And from that car accident, I I broke a rib. I fractured a few ribs. I broke a bone in my back up here. I fractured the C2 in my neck, which if I broke that, I'd be dead or eating out of a tube for the rest of my life. I fractured my skull. Uh, oh no, I fractured my entire face. I broke my nose. I cracked my skull, severe nerve damage. I lost feeling in the side of my face, sight in my left eye, and movement in the side of my face. My left ear came off. They had to sew it back on. I would show you that, but I would have to take things off. But um, I lost um, hearing in my left ear, but that came back in the hospital partially. I spent from October 27th to December 13th. I was in the hospital, and for a week and a half, I was in a coma. And when I woke up, I was It was like in the middle of the night, and I was strapped down to a bed, and that nurse didn't have the best bedside, uh, whatever whatever it's called, because um, you know, my memory was very. I went from being in peace and love and grace and bliss to this very dense reality and not knowing who I was. Like all my short term memory was gone, for the most part. Um, the first person on the scene of that car accident was Dr. Gary LaRopa, a neurologist. Him and his daughter, who he kept my airways open while his daughter called the ambulance to save my life. Um, he's a wonderful man. He 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 came to visit me in the hospital. And when I woke up, I had over 100 cards and poster boards and a whole bunch of stuff made for me, and a lot of guests waiting to see me that couldn't see me because of family, obviously, is first, and people just wanted to make sure that I was okay. And I can't remember if it was like the third or fourth day, but he came to see me and he said, um, "Well, I'm glad I didn't save an asshole because there were so many people there to see me." But he's a wonderful man, truly. He um he actually ended up taking me to Disney World, maybe a year after the whole thing happened. Um, I went to his all his his daughter's weddings, his wedding. He's a wonderful man, truly. Very grateful for him. Very grateful for Gary LaRopa and his family. He Very grateful. He's a neurologist, so the most serious injury next to my neck was my head, which I cracked that pretty good. I think that details the story as far as uh, everything that happened with the accident. I had uh, surgery on this eye. They had to put a weight in this eye because I couldn't move this side of my body. So I was sleeping with one eye open, literally. So they put a weight in this eye. And I had surgery on this eye because it was lazy. It's still kind of lazy. It still kind of does what it wants to. Um, and I had another surgery on it. I think I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I had a surgery on it to straighten it out. Yeah.
Who do you think the voice was that was communicating with you on the other side?
I have no doubt that that was Allah.
You mentioned that you weren't finished with your work, and that's why you came back.
Yeah.
What do you understand what the work is that you need to be doing now that you're back?
I do think so. I do think I have some kind of understanding of it. Yeah, because it was a journey after the whole life and death or my near life experience. Um, there really was, and a lot of people around me, friends and family, they couldn't get it. A lot of people thought I was going crazy, thought I was losing it, because I was aware of things that were a lot of people didn't care about.
You were aware of, like, what, for example?
The fact that we are more than we're we're not our bodies, and we're not we're not even the with our bodies are vessels. We are what dwells within it, and the vessels are supposed to be used to get things accomplished here. So, um, 90% of the things that people care about isn't important. 90% of the stuff that people 90% of the stuff that people care about isn't important. Like all the things that the world is focusing on, it has nothing to do with life, reality, or the evolution of consciousness and the growth of development of humanity. It has nothing at all to do with anything life, or if anything, it's backwards.
Would you say that those things are basically a distraction while we're here?
Oh, they are a huge distraction. Huge distraction. Like the whole thing that happened in 2020, that was I feel like every 20 years they have to come up with something to just like an event to distract us from what's going on around us. And, you know, for when I was a kid, it was 9/11. For this generation of kids, children, it's 2020, you know.
I figured there would be even distractions just from the simpler things in life, just like television and video games or, whatever else that could be, just simple distractions. I don't know if those are the right examples, but I think you know what I mean.
What do you mean? Wait.
I figured there was even simpler distractions like getting caught up in, I don't know, put things on Facebook. People are always
Oh,
arguing over stuff on Facebook that kind of really are just, that really just is nonsense.
yeah. No, yeah, and I agree. And for me personally, uh, it started with spirituality, like my because I started having dreams and memories of what was happening while I was in a coma for a week and a half. Then I had to ask my mom about something that I saw on the other side, like um did I breastfeed? She's like, yeah, but you stopped. And I was like, oh, well, that's because you started smoking cigarettes again. And I didn't like the way your milk tastes. And she's like, well, how do you know that? And I was like, because I saw it. Because I saw it. That's how I know. I saw it happen and I experienced it. I didn't it's not something that I could just remember.
Hmm.
Like I'm not thinking about that as a child. Like I wouldn't just come out of, you know, a coma and ask you something as random as that. It's because I saw it. I was over there. Um, yeah, like when I think about like all the distractions, like me personally, the spirituality, when I started meditating, I had a lot of out of body experiences and did a lot of astral projection while I was in a coma for a week and a half. And that's what I was remembering doing. So when I learned that you could astral project and have out of body experiences through meditation, that's what I started practicing doing. I started practicing meditation. So I was practicing meditating for like, I don't know, 2.5 months. And when I finally got to that, like, when I finally shut the thoughts off in my mind, like, and I was just connected with all of it, all my chakras were aligned and all that stuff. When I finally did all that, I was like, whoa, this is crazy, this is more, that we are truly more, and you could tap into that when you can shut your mind off. um uh I had that experience, and it made me it made me want to get back into the word of God. So I one of my friends was a Christian. So I asked him, I told him about my experience, and I asked him if I can go to his church. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'd love it if you come to my church." So I did that for a while. I was going to that church for a while until I had my next supernatural experience with the Holy Ghost, and that was different because that was like it took all my already supernatural abilities and made them even more. Woo, like it took everything up a lot. Like where I was reading people's minds and seeing future events and visions of uh I don't know if they were past events or future events, things that have yet to happen. Seeing it, like seeing and being in people's lives just from like looking into their eyes. It was very powerful, and my thoughts were purified. Like I had no negative, no perverted, no, everything was purified to me. I was like, this is crazy. And I felt like I felt like I had balanced masculine and feminine. That's what it felt like.
At what point in your life did you become Muslim?
This is within the past 2.5, 3 years. I'll say 3 years now.
Would that be a result from your NDE?
I think it led to it because when I was at the, when I was at the church and I had my near death experience or near life experience, um, and I was bringing a whole bunch of people to this church because I felt like there was something there. There was something moving there in the spirit. So I thought if it could move me, it could move you. Now I know that Allah, God, communicates through people in situations, and He can talk to anybody through anything. So I know that whatever the pastor is saying, granted, it has its message, but it could touch you in a different way. It could relate to your life in a different way. Allah could speak to you in a different way, whatever you're going through. So that's how I viewed it. It didn't I wasn't going there for the beliefs. I was going there to be with the community, and I was reading the Bible on my own. Um and I had another experience where I was a practicing meditator now, and it didn't take me long or half an hour to get into this space of no mind, like no thought, like just after I had that experience with the Holy Ghost, it didn't take me long to shut the thoughts off in my mind. And one night I was meditating, and a friend was over. This was, I think it was, I'm pretty, yeah, this was after a concert. I told him that I was going to meditate. He was staying over because he lived in the boonies in Coventry, and I was in West Warwick. He's on the couch. I was like, I'm just going to meditate on the couch. He's like, yeah, man, just do what you got to do. He's going to sleep. I'm like, all right. So I sat back, and um, I hear a voice. It speaks to me. What are you doing? Now, I've never heard voices in meditation before, so like, I know that's not my voice speaking to me. So I just kind of ignored it. And what are you doing? For a second time, like, ignored it again. And the third time it came to me, it sounded like my whole living room was speaking to me. Like, what are you doing? And like I kind of like made a face, like it made, like my eyes were closed and like made a face, like, what's it look like I'm doing? And then it said, for the fourth time, what are you doing? You're a walking miracle. And I like opened my eyes and I was like, what? It said, you talk to all your friends about change and corruption. What do you think they're waiting for? Me? He said, a leader. I said, oh, well, that makes sense. So I stand up. I start pacing around. I'm like, are you hearing this? To my friend. Like, I'm just grooving out to the music, man, trying to go to sleep. I'm like, all right, I'm going crazy. And this moment, I hear, you're a reincarnation of Martin Luther King. You incarnated to see your dream fulfilled on a global scale. There are others like you. You will encounter them on your journey. You are not alone. Now, I know I'm crazy. I ran into my bathroom. I'm splashing my face with water. Like, this can't be happening. Then I'm looking myself in the eyes. I'm like, what's going on? It's like, you can't escape me. I am everywhere. I'm like, all right. So that's what this is. I like calmly walk back into my living room and sit back on my couch and just like kind of like sure, like, so like, what do you want me to do? Like, your voice. When you speak, the people will listen. Like, and I look at the Bible that I'm like reading and I've already read, but I'm reading again now. I said, I can't preach something I don't believe in fully, thoroughly, with my whole heart. That goes against who I am and my beliefs as a person. No disrespect. Like, I wasn't trying to get like smited or something. Um, and then I felt like an eerie feeling come over me. Like, here I've always been, and here I'll always be. I'm like, so like, what am I to do? And it felt like I felt it's, I, I thought I saw something leave the room, like a darkness leave the room, and like the dialogue ended, and I was just like, well, that was weird, you know. Like, that was weird. That was really weird. Like, I didn't know what to think about that, and I told all my Christian friends about it, and they were like, man, that's crazy. Like, you gotta share that story with the pastor. I was like, no, I don't know him though. Like I know you guys know me, you guys know what I've been through. You guys were at the hospital with me. You guys are coming to my house and smoking my weed. You know what I'm saying? You guys are hanging out with me. You guys are literally hanging out with me. And I'm talking to you guys about the things that I'm experiencing. So I don't know him. It's like, he's a spiritual leader at our church. You should tell him. All right. So I told him, and he said that was the devil. And I said, well, how do you know it was the devil? He said, because reincarnation is not of God. That is Hinduism. I said, oh, so it's under your religion? He said, yes. And I was like, well, aren't all religions tied to God? And he said, no. I said, that's interesting. Um, that, that, so if you're not a Christian, you're going to hell? And he's like, yes. Well, I said, well, that's unbelievable. And he's like, well, believe it, because it's the truth. And that that sat with me. Like, his words sat with me for a week. And this was when I was on Facebook, and um, I was on there was a Facebook group called Earth We Are One. It was like a spiritual, it's like a spiritual group for people who are spiritual and reading spiritual books and learning about spirituality, meditation, and chakras. And I went on there and I said, has anybody ever heard voices in meditation? Like, I don't want any likes, or I would like some responses, please. Anybody had any voices in meditation? Because I don't know what to do about this. I had a voice, and yes, just please. I took a shower, took the longest shower I've ever taken in my entire life. Um, whoa, I rolled a blunt, I put it in the freezer, and I took the longest shower I've ever taken in my entire life. and it was when I was done with the shower, the water was cold, but my mind wasn't like, I don't know, like I couldn't stop thinking about what was going on within me for to hear voices. Um, like it started. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? You know, that's what started to get to me. Am I crazy? And I don't know, maybe 2.5 hours later, 3 hours, I got out of the shower. I got dressed and I got my freezer blown. And I sat down at my laptop and there's a new tab on my laptop, like something like there's a new tab on my laptop. Like someone typed something up and did did this. I'm like, what's this? And it just says universe. It says I just see uni. I click on it. It says universe people, a conversation with God, an uncommon dialogue, book one. Just what is this? It's 12:30 at night. An uncommon dialogue, book one. What is this? Who did this? I live with three, no, one, two. I live with two females. They live upstairs. I live downstairs. We live in a townhouse. I'm downstairs. Downstairs is mine. I got a living room, a kitchen. We share a kitchen. Um, but no one would come downstairs and do this for me. Then they don't know what's going on with me spiritually. So I'll just take it as a sign. And I'll start reading. So I start reading, and that was the start of that journey. And uh, that led me to um, another religion, but it wasn't. Uh, it was the Quran, not the Quran. You know, Muhammad. That led me to Muhammad. But eventually, I was still still going to the church. The pastor, because I'm telling my friends about this book I'm reading, and they're not liking it. Me telling them that the original commandments were commitments, and God talks to everybody, all of us, all the time. They didn't like that. Um, the pastor says to me, um, "You're no longer welcome at our church uh, because of all the people that I was bringing to the church were telling him about the things that I was talking about to them. You guys are my friends. Like, I thought we could talk about these things. We're friends, Even if you don't agree or believe, like these are the things I'm experiencing. um, yeah, he said, you're no longer welcome at our church. I said, why? He's like, because your beliefs don't align with the church beliefs. It's like, I died before. My beliefs are not going to align with your beliefs. I know that there is no such thing as hell. Like, I know that. You create it. So I know that you create these things yourself. I know these things. I don't have the beliefs. I am the belief. I am the be life. And, I got kicked out of that church. And that was the end of that Christian journey.
Do you feel that the voice that was speaking to you was God or your higher self?
It's a great question. It's a great question. That's a great question because I believe that they're one and the same. In my belief system, my religion, um, man has man has two selves, a higher self and a lower self, and man's higher self is one with Allah, and the lower self is a shadow and will pass away. So this is the lower self. This is a shadow. That's these are the things that I've experienced too. So before I even knew about being a Moorish American and the creed, I was already experiencing these things, and you know, I just didn't have tools, I guess.
Has the memories of the experience faded over time?
Which experience?
The actual NDE.
No. Sometimes the day itself, that's that's kind of going because it's I my the doctor told me that you're lucky to be alive, and the effects of your car accident aren't going to show up for 10 years or so. So everything that happened then is starting to kick in now. Like I'm starting to have seizures. I'm starting to have lapses in memory. Starting to all that stuff is starting to set in now. So it's been harder now.
Do you fear death at all?
No, death is nothing to be feared. Death is a friend of man. That's what I learned. Death is a friend. Death is you should welcome death 'cause it's a transition. It's like you should look at it like a butterfly, like a caterpillar exiting his cocoon. That's how you should look at death because the way I see it, you gotta the butterfly only. I mean, the caterpillar only knows one dimension. You know what I'm saying? Then it goes through life experiences. Then it builds its cocoon, and if it builds its cocoon in the proper lighting and setting and environment, then it can emerge a different entity completely. Like, and that's literally a different consciousness. You can now fly. You went from being grounded to being airborne. It's that butterfly is not the same thing as that caterpillar. So that's essentially how I look at death, like a friend of man.
Speaking of friends, if you had one that was grieving over the loss of a loved one, what type of advice would you give?
This is me personally, what I feel. I feel like when you grieve, you you make it harder for the person to move on to their next destination, their next journey, their next installment in this circle of life or spiral of life. I'll say because it's a spiral. It's not a circle. Life spirals. It doesn't circle. If you're in a circle, then you're stagnant, and that's not good. Stagnant is stagnant. Is, no, we don't want stagnation because life isn't stagnant. Life is constant motion. Life is living intelligence frequencies experienced. That's my acronym for life. And all these, again, with the things that I personally experienced, and Allah, God speaking to me, or higher self, giving me acronyms to share with people. I am. I acknowledge myself. I acknowledge matter. I acknowledge more. And the I, hold on, I want to show you something. I was working on this. Um, I was working on this for a design for what is it? It's like for my t-shirts. Your eye, the individual eye itself, is the intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Like I am, then I is experience your existence, experience your expression, experience your echo, experience your existence, echo, enlightenment, experience your essence, experience your, I can't think of it right now, but there's 7 chakras and 7 intelligence for the eye. And I feel like the English language is coded. Television. You said the word television earlier is a distraction. Well, it is, because life itself, TVs imitate life. Like these eyes do what TVs do, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're all in this divine vision demonstration. I really do feel like everybody, well, Shakespeare said, life, what do you say? The world is a stage.
Mm-hmm.
We're all actors. You just have to learn your role and play your role.
Do you feel that the Holy Ghost is some sort of unified field of energy that we can all tap into, and it has all the information of the universe there?
Yeah, I do. Because I've been enlightened. I've experienced enlightenment twice, but you if you don't know what you're seeing or experiencing, like, then you don't really know it. Like, um, you you have to know. Like, you can be enlightened, but still not have the information, still not have the knowledge. Like I've been like, ping, like a bell goes off in my head, or rings off, and your eyes are open, but everything is white. Everything is white, and you're just like, what is going on? And then all the answers are coming to you, like all the answer, whatever question that you have the answer to before you even finish the question. That's what enlightenment is. But I wasn't like, I don't know, I didn't under at that time. I didn't understand the power of it. I didn't understand what I was really asking for. And it's not easy getting back up to that point. I've been trying. It's not easy. Aligning my chakras again, like how they were. Um, but yeah, I everything is in motion.
How do you foresee what you're doing with the future of your life within fulfilling your purpose of being here?
I foresee me waking up my people to their birthrights and their nationality. I I didn't know when I got a tap on the shoulder about, you know, Moors in America, like the language thing, like black. Black is a spell. I don't want to get like too controversial, but I never identified as a black person. I've always identified as uh, a Cherokee Native. And when I learned about um, black has no standing in law, and black means civiliter mortus, and when you call yourself black, like a person identifying as black, then you don't have human rights because people have nationalities and things have colors, and that's what was stripped from the people in this land, our nationalities and our birthrights and our identities. And um, when I say I feel like I'm here to start a temple in Rhode Island and to, wake up and unite us here so we can get us out of this spell of being black and identifying as black, because that's really it's a derogatory term. I don't like it at all. It makes me sick. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I hear it everywhere. I hate it. I really hate it. And now, like, I didn't like it before, but now that I know what it means and the truth behind it, it's like I hate it even more now.
Well, I think there's no such thing as black or white people. Everybody is a certain shade of brown, just lighter and darker.
Yes, that's 100. That's 110% true. Black and white are political statuses, and when you learn what one means and what the other means, it's like, oh, that's not right at all. Like, white means pure, natural to the land, God and ruler. In political status, that's what white means. There's only one people on the planet that can claim that political status. Only one people on the planet, and it's those people that are identifying as black that are doing that. And this is everything is connected. Everything is connected. All of it, like religion, nationality, politics, the movies, all of it is connected. So when you have nature is out of balance because nature is out of balance, the political status structure is out of balance. People are like the mothers and fathers of civilization are identifying as dead and unnatural things, unnatural to the land. And they don't know anything about their history at all. Like, you know that there's more pyramids here in America than there are anywhere else on Earth?
I think I saw something actually not too long ago, a photograph of the country, and that showed where all the pyramids are. And there are a lot
Yes.
here.
There's over 2,000 pyramids in North America. We have the oldest and largest pyramids and the most than anywhere else on the planet. We don't know anything about the history. Anything. It's not spoken about. It's not. And like this one time, um, I when I was going through this spiritual stuff, and and manifesting things really fast. I removed I from my vocabulary for a while. For like maybe like 3 months, I removed I from my vocabulary. We. Things were manifesting like crazy. Um, yeah, I I was I had already tried the LSD, and this guy came over and he was gonna. I forgot that I had you know I forgot that I had taken some LSD and I was meditating. And when I was meditating, I be I became the sun. Like I was the sun looking at Earth, and it freaked me out. Like when I forgot that I had and I was meditating and I was like the sun, like the actual sun looking at Earth. I was like, what? It freaked me out. Then I was the sun, and then I came back into my body. And I was like, how is that even like what just happened? What just happened? I've experienced a lot of different things in meditation. I've been I've been all of it and none of it, like everything all at once and nothing. It's very it's very weird. Like meditation is like, do you meditate? Are you a meditator, Jeff?
Yes, I am.
So you know. So you know, man, the being everything and nothing, it's crazy. When you change your frequencies, dimension hopping, when you see certain entities, not all shadow creatures are bad. You gotta you gotta know that. I just I'm happy to speak with another meditator too that knows about the experiences of the consciousness. 'Cause consciousness is no joke.
Well, after watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you open to that?
Sure, if they have questions, absolutely.
What's the best way to contact you?
I have a Instagram and I have a Facebook. I don't use I just created Facebook though. So it's not really when I found out that I was a Moorish American, because I had over 20,000 people reach, like just in the spiritual community, um, people just tuning into the things that I was saying. I'm pretty sure they just took my Instagram away, my Facebook away, because I was gonna go live about the things that they've been lying to us about. And the next day, like I had said that in my head, like I'm gonna go live about this stuff tomorrow on Facebook and just talk about these things. Like that's when I was gonna start my channel. And the next day I went on Facebook and I didn't have a Facebook anymore. I was like, all right, well, there goes that. I started that's when I went on Instagram and you know uh, they just took that one down to Wonder and Profit was that Instagram, but now is Whoops Burn one, which was the burner account that I now have to use because I don't have an actual Instagram tied to Whoops Burn Wonder and Profit anymore. But Wonder and Profit is the YouTube channel, and Denzel Palmer L is the Facebook, and Whoops Burn one is the Instagram. Can I have do you have an Instagram?
Yeah, it's JeffMara Podcast.
Like, do I have you on Instagram or am I just following you on
I believe we just communicate through Facebook.
Okay, I was gonna say because I'm pretty sure I saw your video on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube, and sometimes I'll make like little short videos for Instagram or TikTok, stuff like that, and YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, I was trying to go. I guess you need 50 subscribers to go live on YouTube. Just
I
make
don't
shorts
know.
on
I'm
YouTube.
I'm not even aware of that, to tell you honestly.
Oh yeah, no, I tried. And it's like, no, you need 50
Mhm.
subscribers. I was like, whoa,
Uh,
subscribe.
well, maybe after watching this podcast, you'll get 50.
Oh, God willing, I'd be nice.
Well, before we finish up, can you leave us with one last positive message?
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And peace be with you. Allah is always watching.
Elle, thank you for your message and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, I'm glad to have done this. I've never been interviewed before, so that was nice.
You're welcome. Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.